Attention passionation and loyal Cleveland Browns fans. An important update just dropped straight from the AFC North. That could completely change the course of the season. Something big is happening, and it might directly impact the Browns' path toward another possible Super Bowl run. We're talking about a shift in the balance of power in the division, one that could make one of our fiercest rivals stumble hard for years to come. But before we get into it, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share this with your friends. Now let's get to the facts. If you've been following the NFL landscape closely, you already know that the Cleveland Browns are at a critical crossroads. The offseason has brought a flood of moves, headlines, and speculation. But one name in particular has dominated the conversation: Myles Garrett. Garrett isn't just another defensive talent, he's the heart of this defense. A franchise icon since he arrived in 2017, with his brute strength, explosiveness, and refined technique. He turned what used to be a struggling defense into one of the most feared units in the league. Just last season, he recorded 16 sacks and was such a dominant force that entire offenses had to reorganize just to try and contain him. Cleveland currently has a four-man quarterback competition shaping up. Alongside Sanders, the Browns also have Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and Dillon Gabriel all battling for playing time before training camp even begins. Sanders has already been involved in some off-field issues. Those concerns led one analyst to issue a serious warning to the rookie. Nate Davis from USA Today put Sanders on notice about potential cuts before training camp and the preseason even get underway. While Sanders was widely expected to go in the first round of this year's draft, more than one commentator has suggested that the son of Hall of Famer and Buffs head coach Deion Sanders likely would have been a day to pick if his name had been Shedeur Jones, apparently. Just because his name is Shedeur Sanders, and he was never really that generational type talent that stuns teams with dazzling ability. He ended up as a fifth-round pick, the kind of player who doesn't even need to give a team a reason to cut him. With Garrett's resume, it's no surprise the team made a huge investment to keep him, handing him a monster 5-year, $160 million contract. On paper, that should have locked him into Cleveland long-term, but things aren't that simple. Despite the deal, rumors started swirling. Sources close to the situation suggest Garrett might be rethinking his future with the franchise. And the big question going around the league is, are the Browns truly ready to contend for a Super Bowl? With powerhouses like the Chiefs, Eagles, and 49ers consistently making big moves and deep playoff runs, it's only natural for players like Garrett to wonder if they're really on the right path, especially someone with the talent to be one of the greatest to ever play his position. One of Garrett's former opponents even called him the NFL's #1 nightmare matchup and predicted a huge season ahead for the Cleveland Browns superstar. Former Pro Bowl offensive lineman Terron Armstead faced Garrett several times over his 12-year NFL career and knows firsthand just how dominant the former #1 overall pick can be. Armstead believes Garrett has only improved over time and expects him to finally hit the elusive 20-sack milestone this season for the Browns. He's a problem. He's got 0.5% body fat, so when you're looking at this guy before he even gets into his stance, it doesn't make sense. His ability to have that much power, that size, but still bend inches from the ground. Armstead said during an appearance on Good Morning Football, he's added more elements to his game. Now you're seeing the progression he's made. Heading into 2025, he's getting 20 sacks. Since 1982, when sacks became an official NFL stat, only 12 players have hit the 20-sack mark in a season. Steelers star T.J. Watt was the most recent to do it back in 2021. Garrett's resume is stacked: Defensive Player of the Year, 6 All-Pro nods, and 6 Pro Bowl appearances. But he's never reached more than 16 sacks in a single year. His offseason started rocky. After the Browns stumbled to a 4-13 finish, Garrett publicly requested a trade, expressing his desire to join a competitive team and chase a championship. However, in a major twist, Garrett recommitted to Cleveland by signing a record-breaking 4-year, $160 million extension, the most valuable deal ever given to a defensive player. The contract keeps him in Cleveland through the 2030 season. Now, with the off-field drama behind him, Garrett is focused on raising the bar once again. He believes this season could be his best yet, and considering the elite standard he's already set, that's saying something. I mean, I'm looking forward to having my best season for sure. And I think it's trending that way. It's been really good, and I think everything's pointing in that direction. Garrett said during minicamp, and I like where we are as a defensive unit. It's really full throttle, and I think it's all coming together in terms of scheme and execution. Especially early on, that's important. But if his future in Cleveland becomes shaky again, we can't rule out trade scenarios or even major roster shakeups. The front office has been aggressive, investing in the offensive line, bringing in new weapons to help Deshaun Watson, and reshaping the defensive core. But is it enough to convince Garrett that a title is within reach? Losing Myles Garrett would completely shift the structure of the Browns' defense. His presence frees up other players to make plays, and that's been key to the growth of guys like Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah and other emerging defensive talents. Taking Garrett out of the picture is like pulling the anchor from a ship in open water. It's crucial to remember that Cleveland's recent success has been built on its defense. In 2023, the unit ranked among the league's best in sacks, tackles for loss, and points allowed, all with Garrett leading the charge. And in a division like the AFC North, where the Ravens, Steelers, and Bengals go to war every season, losing a leader like Garrett could mean serious setbacks. So now, the big question remains, what's Cleveland's next move? The front office must strike a balance between emotion and strategy. Keeping Garrett means holding onto an elite defense, but if he's truly unhappy, they might need to consider a trade for draft capital and key pieces for the future. But that's a risky move. Players like Garrett don't come around often. Garrett, remember, is a born competitor. He wants to win. If the front office can show him a clear plan with smart acquisitions and a winning culture, there's a real chance he'll commit long-term. But time is ticking, and the NFL waits for no one. And all of this brings us to a season that could be absolutely pivotal. Head coach Kevin Stefanski and his staff are doubling down on the team's identity, a physical, disciplined defense and a developing offense. Deshaun Watson has shown flashes of brilliance when healthy, and now more than ever, the fans believe. But if the Browns want to turn a playoff appearance into a real Super Bowl